Hello, everyone, and welcome to DECA in a nutshell. Today, we'll be hearing from a DECA regional first place winner. And in this presentation, she'll be covering the questions: what is DECA? Why should students join? What students learn in DECA? And how to prepare for it. So really quick, before we begin the presentation, feel free to join our community. We are a youth community, and our mission centers around youth inspiring youth. We host a series of events, competitions, and summits, so joining our social media is a great way to learn about these events. You can scan the QR code here to join the WeChat group, or join the Facebook group and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just a note, our AI and Innovation Summit is coming up soon, so check that out on our social media. Also, if you want to register for student-driven free classes and workshops, you can visit our website at thefuturebridge.org. Now let me introduce myself. I'm Lindsay, a rising freshman at the Harper School, and today I'm pleased to welcome Sammy Wang, rising sophomore at Valley Christian High School. She has been a DECA member from 2021 to 2022, and she is a part of the VC chapter DECA leadership team in marketing. Sammy attended the Silicon Valley District Career Development Conference and the State Career Development Conference in the past. She enjoys music and sports and is a CPYO second chair flutist. Without further ado, let's welcome Sammy.
Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to this DECA webinar. First, I would thank you to Lindsay and FutureBridge for offering me this opportunity to speak on DECA, and let's get started. So first, I will just introduce an overview of DECA and what DECA really is. So first is their mission statement. DECA prepares emerging leaders and entrepreneurs for careers in marketing, finance, hospitality, and management in high schools and colleges around the globe. So this basically gives you an introduction of what DECA really is. Essentially, it is a business-related program. So that means in this program, you can learn about business skills, you can immerse yourself within the world of marketing. You can learn about finance skills. You can take the role of a hotel manager and deal with scenarios regarding hotel issues and all of those different career choices. So DECA is divided into high school and college division. So each division is slightly different in its way, mainly to address the different learning styles and interests of different members. Of course, high schoolers and college students are really different in some ways. So those two division contrast each other. So overall, DECA really is a comprehensive learning program. What it does is it applies learning of any subject really and connects them to business. So even though DECA is business focused, you gain the experience to be prepared academically. You reach out to your community and help out your community. You become professionally responsible when you're working with a team, you're working in a team and being a leader, and overall it just prepares you to be career ready. So I sort of summarize DECA as a well-rounded club that is filled with different opportunities, and those experiences you partake in DECA can enhance whatever your interest is for the future. So no matter if you want to major in computer science, if you just want to dedicate yourself to marketing or entrepreneurship in the future, DECA is something for you to explore all those jobs around your interest. Even if you're doing computer science in the future, you still have to work within your workspace and talk with your higher ups, and DECA really is a place for you to practice those. So when you actually get inside the workforce, you already have those skill sets matured. And really, DECA here is when you can explore different job options and just have fun in general. So next I'll be talking about specifically high school DECA program and what it really is. So first I will talk about challenges. So like I said, high school DECA is really a lot of clubs merged together into one. So it focuses on different aspects. So one of the aspects is challenges. So in challenges, you can demonstrate the knowledge and the skills learned in the classroom and applies it in real life. So like I said, each challenge focuses on a specific skill set. So on the right, I have included all of the challenges that DECA has to offer. So first is the Digital Presentation Skills Challenge, Diversity, Equality, Inclusion Challenge, Entrepreneur of Tomorrow Challenge, Ethical Leadership Challenge, Lead for Change Challenge, Social Impact Leader of Tomorrow, Social Innovation, and Social Media Marketing. So as you can see, all of those challenges are really popular, especially in 21st century, because it is a really big topic right now, and really just participating in those challenges can give you a lot of experience. And I myself personally, last year I was involved in StuKent, which is the last one I mentioned, called Social Media Marketing Challenge. And what it is really is how they give you a actual account that you can work to grow that account for a business. I remember my company was a bag company, and what I do is I post in those given statistics of when the engagement are the highest. So I will guarantee a really big engagement and possibly reach to customers and users to buy my product. So I feel like this challenge itself really gave me a good experience on how social media marketing is and prepares me for overall marketing in the future. So next I'll talk about chapter campaigns. So chapter campaigns is something that is quite unique from others because you work as a community in your school chapter. So what it is that it helps your school chapter grow and build relationships between your school and community. So it is something that your school can host to benefit your community. And again, it depends on the interest of your school chapter. Some school chapter might prefer one over the other, and not a lot of them might be offered. It is not an individual project. So like I mentioned before, challenges are an individual project, and this actually involves your whole school chapter. So majority of your chapter members have to participate in the chapter campaigns. What it really is on the right, I have included all of those different campaigns you can participate in, such as membership, promotional, ethical leadership, community service, and advocacy. And if your school is really successful in those chapter campaigns, during those major conferences, when all of those different schools in your area attends and everyone is there at the opening ceremony, the hosts, they will give your school a shout out if your community, if your chapter campaign is really successful. And to me, that feels a lot of pride, especially when all of those other schools are essentially who you're competing against with. And when they give you a shout out, everyone in your school just stands up and started to shout really loudly. And it feels really, really nice to be a part of that. Not to mention that when you have a successful chapter campaign, they guarantee spots for you to participate at something called a Thrive event at ICDC. And I will mention more on ICDC later on, but this is the international conference. So this is essentially the highest level of conference you can attend. Thrive event is approximately like 3 days of camp where you meet other really successful leaders of other schools, and you talk about how to enhance your leadership skills to further benefit the community. So next, I'll talk about the competitive events. So this is what DECA really is. So this is the majority of DECA. There are three components to DECA competitive events. That's the exam, written, and role play. So whether you go to any conference in your area, these are the things that you'll be graded on and you'll be placed upon. So first, I'll talk about the written event. The written event, just like its name, involves writing a paper, and you have to submit the whole written before the competition, and at the conference, you'll present it to a judge. So each event, you have to write a report for that, and usually it's around 10 to 20 pages. It will be judged on how thorough your written is written in and how well you're presenting your written. And you'll be asked to write a separate PPT slide to the judge when you're presenting. And the two scores will be added together during the conference. Participating in different events requires you to write different segments that you have to cover throughout your written. On the right, this is a chart of basically a core of what DECA is. So in the middle, you can see there's the marketing, business admin, hospitality and tourism, and finance. This is the four core sections of DECA. So all of these events will circulate around these segments. And there's also the entrepreneurship that's circling the whole. And on the most outer circle is the 21st century skills, critical thinking, communication skills, collaboration, and creativity. These are all the skills that DECA really aims for DECA students to develop throughout your journey, whether you're doing a role play, you're doing exams, or you're presenting your written. So first, I'll show you this written example. So these are the example pages from 2019 ICDC first place winner. And this is actually the written I participated in, and I got ranked in the Silicon Valley regional competition. And this is the ESB event, which is the Entrepreneurship Startup Business Plan. So in this written, I can talk a lot about it because I wrote a 10-page written on this. It's essentially you are trying to develop an idea into a company. And within the written, you have to cover your executive summary. On the left, I include an example. This is where you will address what all of those sections, such as what your customers are, your channels, your cost structure, your problem that your product or your service is going to address, and the solution, like prototypes of your product or service. And then you have the financials, ROI, return on investments, and all of your competitive advantages, basically addressing how you will be more successful than your market. And then following the executive summary, all those other pages will address those segments in greater detail. In the middle, you can see that they wrote a unique value proposition and a solutions, and they put their prototype on it as well. And on the far right, it's the competitive advantage and the conclusion. That's where they will say how much money they're going to look for and how much equity they're seeking. So it's kind of like a Shark Tank style, but you have to write a really thorough report, and at the conference you'll be asked to write slideshows and present those slideshows to your judge. So next I'll talk about role play, one of the other most important concept or component of DECA. So what role play event is that it actually merges with an exam. So you'll be asked to take an exam before the role play, and then you will have the role play section, which is when you will be asked to present a response to a scenario that you'll be given at the competition. And at the role play, you'll be given 10 minutes to prepare and 10 minutes to present. So a lot of people are actually confused about what role play is. So roleplay is essentially you're trying to solve a scenario, but you have to stay in your character. And during your preparation time, like I mentioned, you'll be given a piece of paper with the problem, your role, your judge's role, and as well as the key performance indicator, otherwise known as the KPIs. So the score will be based on how well you follow through and you elaborate and answer the KPIs. So here is a roleplay example. So this is exactly what you will be received at the conference actually. So on the right, that's the judges part. So you will not be given that part, but you'll be given the first and the second page. So the first page is all the instructions, and at the very bottom, that's the key performance indicators, which I boxed around. This is the most important part of your role play because throughout your presentation, you have to cover all of those aspects. In the middle, this is the situation. So if you can follow me, I can quickly run through this role play. So first, it starts with you are to assume the role of candidate for the marketing specialist position at Gear Shoes, an emerging brand of athletic footwear targeted at serious athletes. So now you know your role. So your role is no longer a student or a competitor. You are a marketing specialist, and you are you have just submitted your resume and you have been invited in for a personal interview with the marketing director. So your judge, now you know your judge's role. So your judge's role is a marketing director. So essentially now you know that you are seeking this job and at Gear Shoes, and as we follow along, you can see that Gear Shoes is made of several marketing specialists. The marketing specialists work together on projects and assignments to effectively promote the new brand. And this is the key part. The marketing director wants you to explain which personality traits are important when working in a team and how they can create positive working relationships. So this is an example from Principles of Marketing Roleplay. As you can see, this roleplay is not really asking you to simply demonstrate your skills about marketing. It's more like when you're seeking a job, when you're working with a team, how are you going to work with them, and how are you going to work with your boss, work with everyone else, and how you bond together with everyone else in the workspace. So you can say it is related to marketing, but it's not marketing specific. And this is what I mean when DECA really is for everyone. So just like an example, if I were the person competing, I would say something like this. When I go to the judge, I'll shake their hand like a business professional way, and I'll say, hello, marketing director. I am the candidate for marketing specialist position at Gear Shoes, and I'm here to explain which personality traits are important when working in a team and how they can create positive working relationships. And I'll look over at the KPIs. The first KPI is identify personality traits important to business. So now I'll state, so some of the personality traits important to business is blah, 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 blah. And then after I elaborate upon it, I'll continue the second key performance indicator, which is to explain the concept of self-esteem and so on and so forth. And at the end, I will say, thank you for listening to my presentation. Do you have any questions? And sometimes for me at those, one of the conferences, I made a business card and I handed it to the judge at the end. And that was something that my judge thought it was really memorable because I was the only one in my group to do that. So there is really a lot of freedom in the roleplay section, and to be honest, even though I think it's nerve-wracking, I also think it is really fun. So lastly, I'll briefly talk about the cluster exams. So all of these exams are going to be multiple choice, 100 questions, and it is designed to basically assess your knowledge in those areas. So different career clusters include the things I mentioned, such as business admin, hospitality, entrepreneurship, marketing, finance, and personal financial literacy. DECA events are really specific because DECA is something, again, to make you explore different career choices. And now I'll dig deeper into what those events are. So first, really popular, this is the Principles of Business Admin events. So this is really a beginner kind of event that lets you to just explore around brief levels of business knowledge. So only first year DECA members can attend, and it's one participant, and it requires you to participate in a role play as well as an exam. I actually participated in this last year because I was a first year DECA student, and I was involved in principles of marketing. And the other ones include principles of business management, principles of finance, and principles of hospitality and tourism. I can actually, since I just assume that a lot of people here are going to be first year DECA members, I'll just touch base on some of what you do at those events. So first, for principles of business management, this is really interesting because it covers sort of everything. Most likely you will be given a position such as a manager position at a business, and you'll be asked to assess on how well you can manage your employees or collaborate with them. Principles of finance is one of the most interesting ones in my opinion, because you basically explore around topics of finance. I know at the Silicon Valley conference last year, their topic was identity theft, and it was really interesting because a lot of people don't really know what it is, and they were like, "This is not related to finance," but it's really interesting. Principles of hospitality and tourism is one of the most popular ones because it's really easy. This is essentially when you're working in a hotel and you're dealing with customer complaints, or you're dealing with a bunch of tourists at your hotel, and you have to manage the rooms and split up the rooms so that your business runs smoothly. And for marketing, I just went through the example, but essentially it is also just when you're a marketing candidate or how you are going to market a specific product for a company. So next is the team decision making events. This is a bit harder than the previous event I talked about. So this provides an opportunity for you to analyze elements that are essential to effective operations of the business in a specific career area. So you'll be presented as a case study. So they will give you a case study of a business, and then you have to analyze it. So this is for second year members and above, and because it's called team decision, it is 2 participants. So instead of presenting for only 10 minutes, you'll be asked to present 15 minutes. So that's really a long time. And some of the events they offer are business law and ethics, buying and merchandising, entrepreneurship, financial service, hospitality services, marketing management, sports and entertainment marketing, travel and tourism. So compared to the previous event I talked about, these are all really just digging down to one aspect of the specific cluster. And these are perfect for anyone who already decided what they want to do in the future and just want to get a taste of what it is. So this is also one of the most popular events. This is the individual series events. So this measures your skill essential to success in a given career. And this is really important to essentially any workspace. So like I said, this is pretty much as similar as the first event I talked about. one participant, one exam, 2 role plays if you get qualified from the first role play. And this has a lot of different specific events. This includes this HR management, hospitality, hotel and management, quick serve restaurant management, restaurant and food serve, entrepreneurship, apparel, automotive, business, food marketing, marketing communication, retail merchandising, sports and entertainment, accounting applications, business finance. So if you're not the kind of person that wants to work in a team and you don't want to, like I said, with the identity theft situation, you don't want to go in your event and get something you totally don't know about, then this really is for you, because all of those clusters are broken down into really specific ones, such as in marketing, you can either work for apparel or automotive. So if you're someone who really enjoys shopping, then maybe apparel is for you because you know more about these stores and what people like these days. And if you're really into food, I would suggest you to go to the food marketing because you have more to talk about. So this is essentially an overview of individual series events. So next is the written events. So for those that may be a little bit confused, I'll explain it this way. So there's the role play plus exam combination, that's one, and the written portion. So the written portion, that's when you write a report and then you present it at the conference. So first, this is the business operation research event. So this is when they test you on management skills, and you have to do actual research beforehand in your community. So if you're someone who loves research, this is totally for you. And you will be asked to write a 20-page written, and there will be a 15-minute presentation time. And the different events are business services, buying and merchandising, finance, hospitality, sports and entertainment. On the right, this is the project management skill, and this is one of the most unique written events because this demonstrates all those skills for developing a project. And this is not only like you as a chapter member can participate in. You have to compete within your school chapter to get a spot, and then you'll be going to the conference as a chapter representative. And different project management are business solutions, career development, community awareness, community giving, financial literacy, and sales. So if you're someone who is passionate about your community and want to help your community, this event is definitely for you. So moving on, the entrepreneurship event. This is, like I mentioned before, you'll be given the opportunity to develop your idea into something real. And you'll be exploring the business planning and how to grow like a business. For me, I created my own product, and I came up with all of those different financial numbers and created a cost structure and developed a plan of what kind of service that I am providing and how much money that I am seeking from the investor, which is going to be my judge, and how reasonable that number is. So a lot of people actually do this event because it is one of the events that doesn't require you to write a lot. The minimum will be 10 pages for innovation plan and startup business plan. Innovation plan, this is when you'll be given a prompt and then you have to generate an idea from a existing business, and you have to develop a way to grow that already existing idea into something better. And startup business plan is completely you, and you'll have an opportunity to just grow your own idea. And the 20-page written consists of independent business plan, international business growth, and franchise business plan. So all of these written events are you can do 1 to 3 participants, and you have 15 minutes to present. So for me, I did start a business plan, and I actually had 3 participants in my team. So if you break them down, there's really not a lot of writing to do, and I enjoyed every minute of my presentation to the judge, and it feels really rewarding to see your idea came to something like a prototype. I would also like to add that the business growth plan, that is when if you have a business already, like if you have a small business, you can write on that. You can use your business and just write a report on how you'll use your money to grow your existing business. So on the right, that is the integrated marketing campaign. So this is providing an opportunity for members to develop a marketing campaign for no more than 45 days for a real event, product, or services, and you'll be presenting that in a role play situation. So this is kind of combining all of those elements together. So different events will be the event, product, service, and you'll be asked to take a marketing exam, a 10-page written, and you have to present for 15 minutes. So lastly, this is the professional selling and consulting event. This provides you with an opportunity to develop skills in a career for sales and consulting. And again, this is one of the most popular workforce actually. Some of these events include financial consulting, hospitality and tourism, professional selling, and marketing professional selling. And you'll be asked to take an exam, present a sales presentation for 15 minutes. And again, on the right, I included a chart for you just to refresh your memory on what kind of clusters there are in DECA. So, finishing talking about the competitive events, I would like to take note on the online events actually. So the online events provide you with an opportunity to participate in online simulations, such as how do you invest in a stock market, how to manage your personal finance, or operate a business. This is what DECA is talking about when they're developing you with 21st century skills, because stock market is a thing that more like younger generations are learning about. And in stock market game, you will be given a investment portfolio, and your goal is to increase your value of your portfolio. And I actually also participated in the stock market game. However, I wasn't really successful because I bought a lot of Twitter stocks right before the Elon Musk wanted to acquire Twitter. So the stock market game really depends on the real life stock market, which I think is really cool because it feels like you're actually participating and you're investing in the real thing, but you're using fake money. And then besides the stock market game, there is the virtual business challenge, and that's broken down into accounting, entrepreneurship, hotel management, personal finance, restaurant, retail, and sports. So in virtual business challenge, you'll be given online simulations on how to operate a business, and you'll be graded on how well you operate it and the outcome essentially. It is really interesting to note that winners that win from these two events can actually qualify for ICDC, which is the conference at the international level. So that's why a lot of people participate in those events in hopes to get a spot at ICDC. So I've mentioned ICDC for such a long time now. What really is those high school DECA conferences? So think of conference as a competition. So this is where you will be performing all of your role play, your exam, and your written presentation. So think of it as competition, but it's really business professional. You'll be required to wear DECA appropriate attire, such as suits and blazers, a tie for boys, and a just a blouser for girls. And when you step into the conference rooms, you'll see everyone dressed in suits, and it's really something that is mocked from a real business conference. If you look right at the pyramid, at the bottom, that is the District Career Development Conference. So this is the very first conference you'll be attending. Depending on where you are, if you're at the Silicon Valley, you'll go to SVCDC. If you're at south of California, you'll go to SoCal CDC. And if you're at north of California, you go to NorCal CDC. And this is where you'll be given a chance to just practice on the role play and or written or exam, and you can take those skills over to the State Career Development Conference. So the State Career Development Conference is more important than the district, because if you place top 4 at state, then you'll be qualified to go to the international level. So the state is more business professional. It is more hard to win, because it combines every school from Silicon Valley, SoCal, and NorCal. And talking about international, this is really where everything gets interesting. So I know this year, actually, they went to Atlanta, Georgia. And at the opening ceremony, it's not just a Marriott hotel. They went to an actual football stadium or something. And they got a chance to actually basically take in a vacation. I know some of my friends went to the Coca-Cola factory. They went to the aquarium. They also went to Georgia Tech for college tour. So I think it's really interesting. Besides the conferences, when you're actually competing, a lot of the times you'll be actually having fun with your friends. And yeah. So I've mentioned the fun part, so I'll show you some pictures from last year. Well, actually this year. And this is the SVCDC. On the left, that is the Marriott hotel we stayed in. I'm positive that every DECA conference will be held at a Marriott hotel, because Marriott actually sponsored DECA. And this is also something I discovered later on, is that if you participate well and you get placed in a lot of first place, second place, top 10s, you have a chance to apply for internships and scholarships for Marriott. Because let's say if you participate in those hospitality events, you can totally associate that with Marriott as a hotel, and it further enhance your skill set in the given field. In the middle, on the top, that is our school chapter, Valley Christian High School. And we had the most people there. I think we had 100 something people at the conference. At the bottom, that is the conference room. And when I first walked into it, I felt like it was so business professional in a way, because everyone is dressed up in suits, and everyone's sitting in those big circular tables, and you'll be forced to bond with people that you never heard of. And it was really fun. I made so many friends. And that is the DECA class. In DECA, we always say hashtag DECA get the glass. We do this weird sign. That's the DECA sign. This is basically your award. if you get placed, you won't be given a trophy. You'll be given a glass. So this is a DECA glass. On the right, we ate so much junk food in the span of 4 days, and it was such a fun time. So for SCDC, this is one of the greatest experiences in my life actually. At the left, top left, that is our hotel, which is significantly better than the SVCDC hotel. And we were actually at Anaheim down in LA. On the bottom left, that is the opening ceremony. So everyone is kind of black there. Everyone is seated, and there were loud music blasting in the background. There were DJs, and I think one really successful VC was there to give us a speech, and it was really fun. Whenever they called on your school, like for us, whenever they said, "Oh, Valley Christian High School," and everyone would shout like super loud, and eventually it turned into a screaming contest in a way. It was really fun. So you might already saw, but we went to Disney. So during the conference time, I think it was around 5 days, maybe less. The actual competition times are, if you sum it up, it might just take 2 hours. So the rest of the day is spent to prepare for exams, role plays, just a quick view of that written and practice your written presentations. But besides that, we were given a chance to go to Disneyland, and it was really fun because many DECA members in our school are actually my friends. So we end up going to Disney in like a great blob of people, and then we separated into smaller groups at Disney, and they give you complete freedom to do whatever you want, unless it's something dangerous, but as long as you check in with your chaperone, you can go anywhere in LA basically. So it was really fun. And of course I can't end this presentation without food. So during those days at SCDC, we ate so many good food. On the left, that is the pizza from our hotel. And then we ended up door dashing a bunch of Korean food, Japanese food, and dim sum. And I remember we were staying up until like midnight just to watch like K-dramas, and it was a really just a good bonding experience with your friends that has the similar interests as you. So overall, I think DECA really is giving you an opportunity to not only make new friends and also explore your career interests. So I would like you to, if you're interested in DECA after this presentation, I really encourage you to go on the websites that I put on there. The first one is the California DECA website. So if you're in California, this website is for you because it shows all of those California specific conference dates and information, and it is extremely beneficial to you because you'll be participating in those conferences this year, hopefully, if you're attending DECA. The second one is the main DECA website, and if you have any questions or you want to revisit any of the events that I mentioned today, you can certainly do that if you click to that website. And lastly, there is a really weird URL, and this is the DECA guide. So I've boxed the kind of procedure to get to where that is. So if you open the second link that I put on there, that is the main DECA website. You click high school, and then you click quick links, and that's the DECA guide. So DECA guide is like a 100-page kind of brochure to really tell you what the requirement is for different events, some photos from the years before, and all those different information that you might be looking for. So I strongly encourage you to visit those links and explore more on those topics. Okay, thank you so much for listening to my presentation. And I know Lindsay is going to host a Q&A section. So if you have any questions, feel free to just unmute if you want, or I will be checking the chat box right now.
Yeah, thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. We've learned a lot today. And so now we'll be hosting a Q&A session, so feel free to type questions in the chat. We already have some questions, so I'll start with the first one. How much time will it take to attend DECA at high school each week?
So this depends on your school. I know for my school, Valley Christian, it is required to attend a meeting every Wednesday during lunch, and there will be a workshop given each week, but that's not required. So if you're talking about requirement wise, you have to check that with your school. But time commitment wise, I do not think that there is a lot of time commitment for DECA, in my personal opinion. I think that maybe if you really, really want to be placed or get a really good score, maybe 1 to 2 hours regular time each week, and maybe before conferences you might spend maybe like 2 to 3 hours trying to just further build your written or practice your role play. It really digs down into how well you want to be prepared. So for me, I think last year I did maybe 2 hours a week, but I started pretty early. And yeah, it depends on how you want to pace yourself.
Thank you. Another participant said, at our daughter's school, she needs to take a marketing elective class in order to join their DECA club. But because she is taking a world language class in 9th and 10th grade, she does not have the chance to join the club. So what are some other options?
Okay, this is a really good question. So because DECA is a school club, you essentially have to follow your school's rules. For our school, we were required to take a business fundamentals class. I would say if you're able to add another class, or maybe like taking summer camp on it and then inform your school about the summer camp, maybe it meets their requirements. I think those are possible alternative ways to do that. But for me at least, I took the business fundamentals course in my school at 9th grade, even though I could have taken maybe like an AP or an honors to boost my GPA up a little. I still feel like it's worth it because those classes really prepares you to be successful in DECA. You don't want to enter into the competition and be not ready, and you don't have those skill set matured already, and instead do a poor job at the conference. So I recommend you to work around with your school. I know some people in my school, they took like really impressive summer camps, and the school made some exceptions for that. So yeah.
All right. Another question is, how is the stock market game judged? Is it by performance or by multiple metrics?
So for stock market game, it is judged by your performance. So essentially, they give you a period of time, they give you a portfolio, and they give you a simulator. So in the simulator, you can buy stocks, mutual bonds, other like forms of bonds, and once the like the session stops, they will look at how well you grow your portfolio, and that's how you'll be judged.
Right. Um, Someone said, at my school, there is both a FBLA, which is the Future Business Leaders of America chapter, and a DECA chapter. What are the differences between these two? For example, recognition, and which one would you recommend?
Okay, this is a great question. I know a lot of schools have FBLA and DECA together. I think that these competition essentially are the same. So this is my own opinion. I think they are the same because some of the events really is the duplicates of another. I think it depends on your personal preference because I know for DECA, they have all those different components that I have mentioned, such as chapter campaigns, challenges, those virtual like online simulator competitions. So it really depends on your interest. I would suggest you to dig deeper into FBLA and see what other things they have to offer besides the actual core competition. For me, our school didn't really have FBLA, but I would prefer DECA anyways because in DECA there are different like opportunities for like growing with your chapter and all of those like even volunteer opportunities and these are really good to just enhance your community skills and 21st century skills and something that if you're planning to take DECA for like college or anything, that is definitely something college will look for. So I would recommend you to look into FBLA, but it really depends on personal preference on if you really just want to go for a competitor route or something that is a mix of everything.
Thank you. And another question is, are you competing with your own schoolmates in the DECA Club, or are you competing with other schools? And how competitive is it to get into the DECA Club?
Okay, perfect. So this is a really good question, actually. I'm really glad you asked. So for most of the schools I know, getting into the DECA Club is basically guaranteed. So it's not competitive to get in DECA. But if you're going to the conferences, you are keep competing with your own schoolmates in the DECA club. So when you enter into a conference, you're competing as your own. So all of those scores will be impacted by your own personal performance. And yeah.
All right. I think for now we have no more questions.
Great. Should I stop sharing right now?
Yeah, okay.
Great.
Thank you to everyone for coming. We hope you enjoyed the presentation.